It is Tuesday, February 11th, 2025. We're meeting in a hybrid format with some of us here at Casco Bay High School and some online via Zoom. Dr. Warren, would you please call the roll?
Member Ali. Member Yusra Ali.
Here.
Vice Chair Bondo.
Présent.
Member Bryden.
Here.
Member Lena.
Present.
Member Noor.
Here.
Member Opperman.
Here.
Student Representative Fitzgerald.
Present.
Student Representative Kantiba.
Here.
Student Representative Lee.
Here.
Student Representative O'Brien.
Here.
Student Representative Ziegler.
Here.
Chair Lentz.
Present. Thank you. And now the Pledge of Allegiance. The flag of the United States of America, the Republic of which stands one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Are we getting some weird feedback? Is anybody hearing that, or is it just
I
me?
think it's me. I was moving my water.
Oh,
That's it.
wow.
I'll put it on the ground.
Good sleuthing. So the Portland Public Schools recognizes the original inhabitants of the land on which our city and schools stand. The Wolastoqiyik or Maliseet, Micmac, Penobscot, and Passamaquoddy tribes, known collectively as the Wabanaki Confederacy, or people of the Dawnland. We are honored to have Wabanaki children among our students today, and as a district, we are committed to making the past, present, and future of Wabanaki peoples visible in our schools and classrooms. And I'm going to do the mission and our definition of equity tonight. The Portland Public Schools is responsible for ensuring a challenging, relevant, and joyful education that empowers every learner to make a difference in the world. We build relationships among families, educators, and the community to promote the healthy development and academic achievement of every learner. And our definition of equity. Equity is all people being held to high expectations and having access to opportunities that are reflective of their individual needs, identities, and experiences. Equity is achieved in Portland Public Schools where there are no identifiable differences in outcomes and experiences for any population subgroup. And now we're going to move on to public comment. So if you would like to give public comment, either here or from the comfort of your home via Zoom, please raise your Zoom hand or come on up to the podium.
Hello. Is it us or is somebody else waiting?
It's you. Sorry, I should have acknowledged. Yes. Go ahead, Carrie and Jen.
Yeah, Carrie Dowdy, Portland Education Association. And I always am curious. I do live in Portland as well, at 27 Fleetwood Street.
Jen Cooper, EdTech President. I also do live in Portland.
We are Portland residents. Thank you, everyone. After much feedback and listening loops, the Portland Education Association has proposed to the superintendent a task force to review Portland Public Schools student discipline policies and procedures and to develop a draft proposal of a progressive discipline document for Portland Public School students by the first school board meeting in May. That this group be co-chaired between labor and management, with both parties taking on an equal part in the organizing, scheduling, and agenda setting of this group. That this task force commence this work as soon as reasonably possible, and that the seats be worked out collaboratively. A district-wide progressive discipline protocol for students has been something widely requested since I started teaching in the Portland Public Schools in 1992 in an elementary school that no longer exists. We propose this not only to advocate for all students and staff in the Portland Public Schools, but also to advocate for parents, as embedding parent collaboration into this process is critical for student success. And then beyond that, here are some of our additional anchor points, guiding questions, some of which may fall under the purview of this group and others that may require a completely different direction. I just wanted to share them. Where and when would a student IEP align or not with a document of this kind? What information can be shared with school staff in the process of protecting a student? The need for a protocol or response indicated when there is a dangerous incident occurring at an off-site event or an event that's outside of the traditional school hours, and a shared understanding of where the dangerous behavior law fits into this work. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie and Jen. And just because we don't have anybody else with their hand up, Carrie, I'm wondering, would you be able to email those remarks to the board? I think that would be really helpful. Thank you so much. Okay, any other public comment, either here or online? Okay, I see none, so I'm going to go ahead and close public comment. I've just got a couple of short remarks tonight. One, I just wanted to acknowledge that we've gotten almost a whole winter's worth of snow in 2 weeks. And so just want to, thank all the people around and our facilities department and also across the city that are working almost around the clock right now to make sure that city buildings and schools especially are accessible. And just also to ask people that might be listening to just offer as much grace for those folks as possible, as it is a really hard and often understaffed and under-resourced job. And more to come this week and this weekend as we move into February break. So just keep checking your emails and texts. Just a reminder that we do have our full budget meeting and proposal coming up on March 4th. So now is the time, if you are a community member, to be talking to the board about the things that you would really like to see in this budget. And you can do that in public comment at any board meeting. You can also email us, and it's incredibly helpful to get those comments at this time as we're putting the budget together. And then finally, recently we've really been using our committee structure to deliver important information about the strategic plan and outcomes that we're seeing and data. So just wanted to call attention to the curriculum and policy meeting that's happening tomorrow night at 6:00. The time got moved back just a little bit. There's going to be a lot of information that is presented both around the special education plan for moving forward and some academic outcomes and data. And then also there was a pretty beefy finance and operations meeting that was on Monday, yesterday, right? Just yesterday, that really reviewed kind of all the changes that we saw in the budget last year and things that might possibly end up in the budget this year. So I would just ask that board members who are not on those committees and did not see those meetings, that you watch them to be able to incorporate what happened in those meetings into the budget process. And with that, we're going to skip the student report tonight. We're going to move that to a different date. And Superintendent, you will be up.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, everybody. I am excited to follow up on the public comments that our President Dowdy and President Cooper shared as we are going to jointly move forward with this task force around progressive discipline. Since my interview, as early as actually my interview, conversations have happened in this district around what's the best structure to look at creating structure and support for students that not only includes restorative justice and ways to recognize that part of our work as educators is to recognize that students are learning and growing with us, and that part of that is about making sure that they have safe spaces to make mistakes, to learn from, and to come back to the community and to have ways to heal the community, but also that we need to have clear expectations and supports for students and for staff to respond to students who need redirection when in the school environment. And so excited to partner with our PEA and other staff members to make sure that we're really clear about not only what are our expectations around student and behavior, but also how do we respond and how do we support in a caring and progressive way. And so how do we do that? I believe that making sure that we're really clear on this and upfront and transparent about this is part of the key way that we ensure that our schools embody what we talk about in our mission statement about making sure that we have joyful places for students to learn. I believe that sometimes discipline becomes or structure becomes a negative or viewed that way. And this is about creating structure and clear expectations. As part of that, tonight you will hear from individuals who are leading our strategic plan work around 3.1, which is a key part of this work. And so they will be talking about work that's been done to support social emotional learning, reduction in suspensions, and other works around school culture. And so I think that this task force around progressive discipline complements that nicely and is not in competition, but is in support of that. And so very excited to continue this work. I think it will also push us, as you will see in tonight's conversation, part of that conversation will be around looking at responses to behavior. And so we'll be talking about suspensions. Part of this is also needing to not just focus on what are the responses, but also what are the underlying actions that are happening in schools that we need to respond to, and how do we create structures and supports so that they're less likely to happen. And so that's not just looking at what are the reactions after the fact, but what are the supports in place at the classroom and school level to reduce the likelihood of those. And so excited to have this task force to do that. As Carrie said, our goal is to have a report back to the board at the first board meeting in May, so that we are in place with training and support for the beginning of the 25-26 school year. So that is my comments tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Superintendent. And now we have the report of the secondary schools.
Good evening. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed, and I'm Assistant Superintendent of Secondary Schools. And tonight I will present to you the February update of the secondary schools. So in the report tonight, we will have high school preference process and the results of the high school selection process of our current 8th graders. Also, we will have how some of our engagement of our strategic plan, and there will be a time for questions. So the board in 2017, the board actually charged the superintendent to implement measures to balance the enrollment of our schools and to maintain school choice while balancing the enrollments and the programming for both the comprehensive high schools, and also applying control of balances of students' numbers in case there are some irregularities, or meaning if there is one school where demographics or the other factors that we account for is more in one school than the other. So the middle school students will received all the information that they needed and to make these options and make choices for the schools of their preference. So there was opportunity that the middle school 8th graders and their families will see what is available in all schools. And also the superintendent reports at the end of the selection process the results to the board. So I attached in here the resolution and directing the superintendent to do this process. So these are the results for this year. So about 105 students accepted or are accepted to be in Casco Bay, while 200 students selected to be at Deering High School. And amongst this 200, there were 16 students who put themselves for first choice for Casco Bay, but they did not make it to the lottery. And also about 169 students, including 15 who put Portland High School as their second choice, but did not make it to the lottery, or they are amongst 169 students who will be at Portland High School. So we looked into the data and looked with students who are multilingual students or ELL students with IEPs. We looked into the students with economical disadvantage status, and students who are unsheltered or McKinney-Vento status. So these are, Casco Bay has about 27% of the class is L or ELL, 15% have IEPs, and economical disadvantage is about 56% of the students who incoming ninth graders for Casco Bay, while about 4% are McKinney-Vento stats. Deering has 24% of EL status with IEP, students with IEPs about 17%, and economical disadvantage about 53%, and students with McKinney-Vento status as 3%. And Portland is 25% L or ELL, 18% with IEPs, 53% economically disadvantaged, and 7% McKinney-Vento status. So this next, or the second part of this report, I will talk to you about some of the work that we're doing around the strategic plan. So this is one of the attempts that our high school students who are talking about transitioning to colleges and careers. This is one of the programs that is available for our students in collaboration with SMCC. So about 30 students, spring ahead, about 30 students or more than 30 students, about 34 students actually this year, are heading to this spring already started to take classes at SMCC with the support and coaching from the collaboration between SMCC and our schools. Also, I'll share with you today, there are many students in our high schools who got either early admissions or early action, or some of them were also direct admission because they were taking classes at the Maine system. So about high school one, we have about 68 students who are already either they have early action, early decision yeses, or direct admission to the Maine system. While we have the high school 2 has 156 students, and high school 3 has 175 students. And lastly, it is one thing that the opportunities are available. Another thing is really access and support. And one of the things that our Make It Happen staff working with FAME did was established platforms for parents who are who want support with FAFSA applications. So there was, in January, there was a couple of nights that we had in one in Portland High School and one Deering High School, where more than 40 parents actually came to get support with FAFSA, which is really very cumbersome and complicated process. But it was a very successful event that parents and the students get the support that they needed to fill the applications. And with that, I conclude the report, and if there are any questions.
What questions do folks have for Dr. Ahmed? Yeah, Board Member Lena?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Dr. Ahmed. I have two questions for you. My first question is the number of students accepted to Casco Bay. I saw was 105. Is that an increase from the 100 number, and is that fluid, or how is that decided?
Yeah, it was in the past, it's always about 104, 105, accounting for the potential of some students moving out or students. Yeah, so it's always starts with 105.
Okay, thank you. And then one other question I had about the SMCC courses. How does it work for students to get to those classes in terms of transportation and also fitting it into their class schedule? Is it an easy thing to work out, or is it quite complicated?
Yeah, so the transportation students, well, most of the students are seniors who do the spring ahead, and some of them, and our students are familiar how to access the metro. So, and some have their own means of getting there, but they don't have classes at all at the high schools. So they go there for the spring. They will attend some sports and some other events, but they start at the spring. All the spring they access there.
Thank you.
Other questions? Vice Chair Bando, go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Ahmed, for the presentation. I have a couple of questions on the high school preference result. The Mac and Vito students, those are percentage of the students coming from other city attending our schools, or those are homeless in our city?
We did not look into the numbers into details, but the McKinney-Vento students can be in the shelters, or it could be like living with another family, or it could be like out, students who were here enrolled with us, but while they're with us, if they become homeless or McKinney-Vento status, then still there are some students that are entitled to be transported, or some of them can access the metro from Westbrook, from South Portland. So it is, but I did not look exactly of like where the students are coming from and who are they.
Okay, that's something that I would like to see, because that can give us ideas when if they are coming from outside of this, because they really start moving away. They're really homeless. They start getting some housing, some places. So just need to make sure if those numbers are reflecting also the one are living, or just the one are still in the homeless shelter living in the city.
Yeah. So
maybe next time. Just want to make sure.
Yeah. But the 80th graders who made the selection, they're still with us in our middle schools. Yeah, okay. In our middle schools.
Okay, great. And next time, can we have last year, the preference result from last year? So I like to compare year to year, just to see where we are balancing ourselves here with the numbers of the students. Just make a note for that for next time. All right. Yeah. So the 35 students with the SMCC, they have a credit, right, while they are attending those courses.
Yeah.
So those credits are being adding on the school year, or is going to go to at the end of the high school, going through colleges.
So this will go on their transcript of high school transcript. Also, they will have their credit and transcript at the college. So they're enrolled at the college and they're getting credit at the college, but also they're getting credit at the high schools. So this will be registered on their transcript as any other class that they take from the colleges while they're in the high school.
Okay, great. So my last question is the early action for the high school decision from colleges. Can we, maybe next time, can we have a breakdown by race and ethnicity? Because it has been a lot of issues from different students, BIPOC students, to have the early decision. So I would like to see on those numbers how we've been reflecting the breakdown, just maybe next time. If you don't have time, it's fine, but I want to have a follow-up.
Yeah, we can follow up, but the numbers were early on, and the guidance counselors were getting from from students as well as from some national platforms where they can get this, but it is too early. But we can get some detailed and demographics of who is going where, and yeah.
Yes, who's going well, that's fine, but just how many on the BIPOC been having the early decision from colleges? I'm just wondering.
Okay.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Other questions from the board? Let me just double check Zoom here. We don't have any hands. Okay, I don't see hands there. I just wanted to second that really anytime we are looking at data, if we can have a comparative, it just helps the board understand where we've come from and where we're going. So that would be helpful. And then on the high school preference results, so the percentage numbers, is that of this class that is coming in the fall?
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. As compared to the average of last year on October 1st. Great.
Yeah.
And then the numbers at the top were, so I see the numbers that didn't get into Casco Bay High School, but are we moving anybody else from either Portland or Deering to make the balance different, or everybody else get their first choice?
Everybody else get their first choice, and the numbers are like the difference is about 31 students, Deering having 31 students more than Portland. And at this time, we are recommending not to change or move students from one school to another school.
That's great. And just a note to the board, for those that haven't been here for this preference process, this, resolution was put in place, like Dr. Ahmed said, and we've had to move very few students over the years that we've done it. Most students get their first preference. Any other questions or comments from the board or student representatives? Nope. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
And now we have the report of the secretary. So we have the consideration and action to approve the meeting minutes of February 4th, 2025. Are there any corrections to the meeting minutes from February 4th, 2025? Okay, I see none. So the minutes are approved as distributed. And now we have some old business, which is our consideration and action to approve the capital improvement plan, otherwise known as CIP or CIP. Would anyone like to speak to this before we take a vote?
So the board received this presentation from our Director of Facilities, Tamara Sweeney, at the board meeting that was just last week, and the Finance Committee approved this after a pretty thorough discussion at their meeting in January. And so at this time, we're comfortable answering any questions, but otherwise moving it forward.
Beautiful. So then I would be looking for a motion for the consideration and action to approve the capital improvement plan. Thank you, Board Member Bryden. Is there a second? Vice Chair Bondo. Are there any questions from the board on this motion? Okay, I see no questions. Any public comment? Just double check. Thank you. Any general discussion from the board? Board Member Bryden, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to quickly say, as Chair of the Finance, Operations, and Personnel Committee, how much I appreciate the efforts of staff to prepare all this information for us on the committee to sift through. I appreciate their patience with all of our questions. I want to express my gratitude to my fellow board members on the committee, and I also just wanted to as I said in our previous business meeting, just call out the fact that there's so much listed on this capital improvement list. We can't possibly really scratch the surface other than trying to keep students safe, warm, and dry. So we're doing what we can with this, and just acknowledge the fact that there's so much more we wish we could do. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Board Member Bryden. Any other discussion from the board? Then by roll call vote, please indicate whether you are in favor of the consideration and action to approve the capital improvement plan. Dr. Warren, will you please call the roll?
Member Ali? Member Yusra Ali?
Yes.
Vice Chair Bondo?
Yes.
Member Bryden?
Yes.
Member Lena?
Yes.
Member Noor?
Yes.
Member Opperman?
Yes.
Student Representative Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Student Representative Kantiba?
Yes.
Student Representative Lee?
Yes.
Student Representative O'Brien?
Yes.
Student Representative Ziegler?
Yes.
Chair Lenz?
Yes, so the motion passes with the students voting with the majority. Up next, we have personnel. And up first, I'm gonna let you introduce it. Take your time. It's good.
Oh, and I was planning to not because I knew last time I feel like I interrupted you. That's fine. So our first agenda item is seeking approval for the hiring of 4 probationary teachers.
Beautiful. Do I have a motion for the consideration and action to approve the personnel items listed, election of teacher candidates probationary? Thank you, Board Member Ali. Is there a second? Thank you, Board Member Noor. Are there any questions from the board? We don't take public comment on personnel issues. Any general discussion from the board? Okay, then by roll call vote, please indicate whether you are in favor of the consideration and action to approve the personnel items listed, election of teacher candidates probationary.
Member Ali? Member Yusra Ali?
Yes.
Vice Chair Bondo?
Yes.
Member Bryden?
Yes.
Member Lena?
Yes.
Member Noor?
Yes.
Member Opperman? Student Representative Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Student Representative Kantiba?
Yes.
Student Representative Lee?
Yes.
Student Representative O'Brien?
Yes.
Student Representative Ziegler?
Yes.
Chair Lenz?
Yes, so the motion passes with the students voting with the majority. And then we have, you go. Ugh, I don't know why this is so hard all of a sudden. You go
I don't know. So we have seeking approval for 1 administrator. During high school, we do have one of our assistant principals out on maternity leave. So we have 1 administrator for the remainder of this school year to cover for that absence.
So do I have a motion for the consideration and action to approve the personnel items listed, election of administrators? Thank you, Board Member Lena. Is there a second? Board Member Bryden. Any questions from the board? Vice Chair Bondo, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to have a clarification. So that means the assistant principal is going to go until the end of the June or till the end of the year? The school year or the end of the year?
I don't know that we have an exact date right now because it doesn't always work that way, but in anticipation of providing coverage for the remainder of the school year is this person
Okay,
that we're asking for today.
all right. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? Any general discussion from the board? Then by roll call vote, please indicate whether you are in favor of the consideration and action to approve the personnel items listed, election of administrators.
Member Ali? Member Yusra Ali?
Yes.
Vice Chair Bondo?
Yes.
Member Bryden?
Yes.
Member Lena?
Yes.
Member Noor?
Yes.
Member Opperman? Student Representative Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Student Representative Kantiba?
Yes.
Student Representative Lee?
Yes.
Student Representative O'Brien?
Yes.
Student Representative Ziegler?
Yes.
Chair Lenz?
Yes, so the motion passes with the students voting with the majority. All right, I'd be looking for, I'll make the motion to adjourn. Now that we're back, is there a second? Thank you, Board Member Noor. Have you got that, Dr. Warren?
Were you the first?
I was the motion, yeah. Noor was the second. All those in favor? Great. We are adjourned at 9:00 p.m. Take good care, everybody.